Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me this morning for the RGGI Q&A. Parsh, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
Very good. All
Ask me
right.
how I ask me how I am.
How are you?
Pins and needles, man.
Pins and needles. Why? What's the matter? What's going on with you?
No, just Monday mornings are pretty fast, right?
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of things that everybody had questions on and off during the weekend. It piles up, and everybody wants answers right now, man.
Of course, yeah.
And that's even the people halfway around the world.
Yeah.
That makes it tough.
I can't imagine, honestly.
We'll get through it.
I heard that you have an opening statement for us today.
I do. Let me know when you want me to get started.
Yeah, whenever you're ready, let's jump into it.
Oh, am I live?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't know that. I'm not good at these kind of things, but I'll get used to it. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome back from the short week. Last week was pretty interesting. When you lose a day, there's a lot of things that don't kind of fall in. And for those who are parents and who have children returning back to school, good health to you guys. It's a little bit anxious, but it'll work out all right at the end of the day. So let's get started. For those who have been following us, pretty closely, next month, October, marks pretty much 1 year anniversary of us having reconstituted RGGI and gotten into the material handling business. So it'll be about 10 months old next month. Yeah, we did some preliminary work prior to that, but really didn't dig into getting things started up until end of September, early October timeframe. At least that's as best as I can remember. And then this 10 months have been pretty fast. So in the span of 1 year, we have grown from no direct employees. I remember there was no payroll. There was no payroll way back there in October to a staff of 15 people. Pretty varied staff in terms of being able to do some original development, which is research and development. More development than research because the company is not large enough to be a sponsor original research. We're doing our own production of Wanda units. We are doing our own integration of products. Have started just a little bit of a sales and marketing effort that'll we're expecting it to grow immensely because that is exactly what we're after. And of course, whatever we deliver, we want to be able to do customer support. But to be able to do all that, you have to have a good set of systems and infrastructure all set up so that the calls don't come in and you say, "Wow, what do I do with it?" I have to have at least some idea as to how to handle these things. Macro material handling and ancillary hardware and software and systems engineering is core of our business. Uh, you know, People ask about UVC lamps. Well, UVC is just a payload for us. Am I good?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, what RGGI's core business is mobile robotics and innovative way of being able to manufacture them, which is where we do for the smaller robots. We do actually build the entire robot by printing it. And we have the ability to, through our product line, be able to move payload as small as 1 kilograms to being able to tow 1,000 and in some instances 2,000 kilograms on a tunneling vehicle. We're doing both autonomous and a preset path navigation. Autonomous is the stuff that's upcoming, and we are into it. But again, it takes a lot of development to go ahead and hone in a pretty good product that works consistently on a plant floor. all the IP that is in the building that we have currently is all ours. That it's not something that we have to buy it from elsewhere and then rejigger it and make a go of it. But everything is original out here in terms of being able to put the systems together. All of our product coverage, almost everything we do is converging towards Industry 4.0. Basically, they dub it 4IR. That for people who are new to that, I'll just take exactly 45 seconds to explain. And people who are into it already know how deep we are into material handling and Industrial 4.0. Basically, this thing is broken down into four parts. Right, when we invented the loom way back there, maybe a couple hundred years ago, that was Industrial 1.0. From there, we went to sequential manufacturing in the 1910s with our original Ford Rouge plant out here. We're making 60 vehicles a minute or whatever it is. It was a work of a genius to be able to line all this, you know, the old supply chain together and get it to all work. And again, it was on chains and conveyors that it all worked. So that's what that is. And then the third phase, or 3.0, is basically taking all the digital pieces that came together with the web and everything dealing with applets and whatnot, and somehow dabble into connecting all these pieces together. And now we're into 4.0, where we're getting the machines to talk to each other. You got outside, you got some controls coming in from the cloud. You're getting it to getting the machines to think a little bit autonomously, so that they can intelligently parlay some work out there rather than sitting idle and not being able to go ahead and sort out what to do next. And we're broaching almost 5.0, which I don't want to get into because it's still not clearly defined. But that's where we are headed. So in the right marketplace for material handling, for warehouse, for distribution centers, and for vertical agriculture is where we're looking at. So what we have is Wanda MC, Wanda SD, and Wanda SA. So Wanda MC is a manual unit to be able to move a UVC ozone lamp, from one place to another and have it go on and off. That's one. Then Wanda SD is a smart drive, which is controlled by an Android app, and you can basically take it and move it around from point A to B to C. Let it finish its work. It'll send you a text, and you can get it to move again. And then, of course, there's Wanda SA, which is being tested right now currently on the floor, where you map out the floor and then tell the unit to go from point A to B, and it'll faithfully go from point A to B, does whatever it needs to do, and it can either return back to point A, which is where it started from, or from there it can go to point C. All that is inputted from an Android or an iPhone device. So the way it works, it's again a 45-second snapshot. Is you get the Wanda SA unit to run on the floor for X amount of time, and it'll map out the entire floor. Probably like my office building is about 2,000 square feet, and it probably finished up everything in about 15 minutes because it just goes back and forth and point generates a point cloud, and after that it represents that point cloud to you on your application device, and you go ahead and start mark saying X is where I want you to start and Y is where I want you to go, and then based on that we're going to ask it to do something, and from there it moves on to the next step. So very, very excited about that because everywhere we go and try and sell SD and make a presentation, they always ask for a fully automated where they just go home at the end of the day and let the device do what it's supposed to do. So that's Wanda SA. The newer derivative product, which is where we started out to be, is a light. It basically a low weight, low load carrier, which we call it LLT. And there's different flavors of it. Being able to transport something that's 1 pound to maybe 250 pounds, maybe about 100 kilograms. And then there is Pool Buddy, which we're really excited about, and that is also running already on a floor with an interface to other ancillary equipment. So this particular vehicle actually tunnels under a load frame and gets the frame to move, which could be up to 1,000 to 2,000 kilograms, and goes from point A to B, magnetic tape guided, and then you do an assembly on it, and then tell it to go somewhere else and somewhere else. Very, very huge marketplace for that because it basically moves load, from point A to B without any human intervention. And again, it can come to a stop if you wanted to do an operation, or it can continue. Um, the last product is called Atlas, which is under development, and that will actually guide itself through any kind of environment autonomously. But it has to have some sense of what the celestial map looks like. You really can't put it in the middle of a forest in Brazil and say go somewhere. It's not going to go anywhere. But you put it on a floor and give it some attributes saying, hey, this is the floor you're on, and this is what it looks like, and it'll find itself. It'll map itself out and then travel. And of course, that's how you'll end up, doing some effective work at the end of the day. So, um, you know, basically, that's where we are at right now. That was what I wanted to, introduce or reintroduce ourselves, and we can go ahead and get started with questions and answers. So
Awesome,
how
man.
do you proceed? Do you have any other questions? Did I leave you short there somewhere? Where
No,
I said
that was awesome. Honestly, that was a great description, and that's extreme. That's awesome. Honestly,
so. We told you about Wanda. That is 3D printed in house. LLT, the light load transfer, is also the same way. And we're building it right now to be able to go ahead and transport some small parts that we have a customer approach us and say, hey, can you do that? So that's what we're doing. Already told you about Pool Buddy being a tunneling vehicle. Uh, Again, there's a huge marketplace for this, and as you see this, this is going to be pretty interesting. Our software, Botway Express, is possibly the jewel of our offering. It's an AI-based traffic control, but traffic control is just not. It's the minimum amount it does. It can also schedule work, and it can schedule the process, and it can schedule maintenance, and it can take itself to a charging station, when it thinks it's out of energy. Botway is pretty much what controls the entire cell. And software like that doesn't get developed on a 5-minute notice or a 20-minute web page. It doesn't work that way. There's quite a bit of work that goes in there. And we also ended up developing a scissor lift that is also remotely controlled. So a point is, once you've reached a certain place on a factory floor, you want this particular scissor lift to lift at a certain height so that somebody can do work on it or somebody can place a load on it. So what'll happen is it goes to 50 feet down on the path, and all of a sudden it gets a wireless command to say, hey, you need to raise yourself 6 inches. And then once it leaves this station, it says, okay, you can drop down to the home position. But now you're not doing all this via an immense amount of wiring that you have to do to be able to have a lift, be able to do that, in the middle of the floor. Somebody's just, meaning Botway, is just going to tell it that this is what you're going to do in the middle of the floor, and have no cables, no construction going on. There is no PLCs, there is no control panels, things like that cost hundreds and thousands of dollars to put in to make these things work. So that's a pretty neat. It's a side development, but you have to have that so that our product can show off, fairly well. Um, what I do want to announce to everybody is on October 26th, 27th, and 28th, we are going to be showing almost all the products we have out in at a show. It's called the Assembly Show in Rosemont, Illinois. I guess it's right next to McCormick and pretty close to O'Hare and pretty close to Midway. We're going to be there for 3 days. If we have a booth out there, it's about 400 square feet, in which Pool Buddy is going to be there. LLT is going to be there, and maybe we'll even have a Wanda that sanitizes our own booth that'll be there. That is a very exciting time for us. The reason is we waited almost a year for all these products to work together and be seen by an outside set of people other than the ones we have been chasing to want to go ahead and show this. Here would be an opportunity for anybody to walk up, say, oh, wow, I see this. How does this work? And then obviously we'll have our experts be able to answer questions and be able to show. But the absolute unique part is that in a 400 square foot area, you're going to see three vehicles. Basically, I would like to say they'll be doing a ballet in a way. And one happens to be a tunneling vehicle. That's not a small vehicle, but you'll see how nimble it is for it to go ahead and take some of the sharpest curves and paths and be able to go ahead and move around, then be able to simulate some work going on. So the entire company is geared up towards wanting to go ahead and make a success at the show, but not taking our eyes off our product. It is the product we want to show. So I don't want to be in a situation where we go to the show and then come back in November and say, well, what next? What next is the product we showed at the assembly show is what is going to be up for sale and for us to be able to go to show and tell with. So that is the biggest announcement I can make today, and get everybody queued in. Of course, not every day is a pleasant day where you tell everybody that we have a 100-unit sale here and so many unit sale there, and we'll ended up talking to a Fortune 10 customer. It's all going to come in as we move along. As we begin to show these products out there, and as customers end up buying it, and we'll end up having some stories published about it and write application notes, and through that people can see different uses of it. But we do, not everything goes smooth all the time, and right now we are kind of stuck in a pretty horrible bind. We have 30 Wanda units that I'm looking at, which are partially assembled, still waiting on some parts to come in. These parts are stuck at the LA port, and we're told that any day it'll unload and any day it'll come back. And we have some pent-up deliveries that we do want to make. That is, at least 20 units need to make it out on customer floor. But we haven't been able to finish it, and they'll sit here partially assembled until those parts come in. Now, at one point in time, when somebody had asked me directly, I had told them that I'm the smartest guy I know, that the way we were going to mitigate this supply chain problem was I was going to put small orders in and be pretty smart about it. Well, guess what? The small orders are not coming in either. So I wasn't as smart as I thought I was. I know large orders, they're basically telling you, yeah, you got to wait or you got to pay premium. Fine. You can say, you will figure a good mix out. But at least small orders, we'd like to be able to get in there. But, I'm waiting on a 12-unit order for some sensors and some fasteners and things like that. But hopefully, before next 2-3 weeks are up, it'll come in, and we'll be able to make an adequate delivery that our customers have been waiting for at least 3 months now, at least 2 to 3 months. So that's one piece of. It's not bad news. It's just that it'll be news that we'll have to wait for to be able to go ahead and make good out of it. So we'll go from there. So we're done with there, and let's just go ahead and go to Q&A. I guess the first question is RGGI looking for to PR sales, and orders of units.
Yes, sir.
Basic, yeah, yeah, basically, this thing, all these orders actually take time, to come in, and for us to be able to go ahead and qualify them. That is this going to go ahead and complete the application, and then end up announcing the show, and announcing the sales, right? And we would like to every day be able to tell people that, yeah, we have sold this and we have sold that, and we've done this, but it is not practical, literally speaking. The time to announce the order is actually when we are shipping it. Because we have had quite a bit of interest, and for one reason or another, either somebody says, well, it is taking a little bit too long for us for delivery, or this is not right and that's not right with the product in terms of their expectation. And we say, oh, okay, well, we'll either put that feature in, and if you put the feature in, it's going to be X amount of time. So when you pre-announce it, the investors have a very, very good memory of you telling them that this is what you said. And when the sale doesn't occur, then now you have to go back and tell them that, well, it didn't work out very well. So basically, my strategy here is you end up telling people that when you ship it is actually when the sale has occurred. So I'm kind of changing the strategy just a slight bit, so that we don't end up, elevating everybody's expectation every day, and then find out that it didn't happen. So that's that's the answer on that.
All right. Now, what are some of the projected profit margins of each product line?
Just give me a second here. Right. So normally on all the products that we're trying to develop, we would like to have at least a 50% margin on that, right?
Okay.
But it is completely out of whack. For me to tell you that I want to do that, I'm going to meet it. I'm not being honest. And the reason why I say that is a part that used to cost me, say, $8 or $10. I'm actually paying $22 for it right now. So that really takes my traditional model for, operating gross profit, and whatever else we utilize as a metric to be costing these things out is out of whack. On Wanda, it's out of whack. On Pull Buddy, it is way out of whack. We also know that is the case with the way we were put together. The Atlas product, it's also the same thing. Even the raw material for material handling system for scissor lift was also expensive.
But now,
We're expecting all these things to level out, right? When it does level out, we are looking for almost a 50% margin to be able to work with. Because of course then we also have people to worry about in the chain that helps us sell as well. So
okay.
that's the short answer. That I cannot tell you with certainty that this is exactly what it's going to be, because I'm overpaying on everything I'm bringing in, and it's not worth it for my time to say to everybody today the cost of or the sell price for Wanda is $5,000, and next week it's going to be $6,200, and then it's going to be $3,800. That doesn't give people confidence.
Yeah, no, for sure. But why is it? Do you know why everything is so much more expensive right now?
Well, I'm assuming that the people who are supplying us are having same problems, right? In terms of material cost, in terms of just being able to expedite some of these things, and maybe they have workforce problems as well, and not being able to meet the number of units that they were going to make. Whether it be drives or whether it be power supplies, every one of it is more expensive. And what the most expensive part happens to be the freight. That is 6 or 7 times right now. You try and get something small in from Europe, and it's exactly $72, and the part itself was $3. So it's not. It's all the way around. It is the product manufacturing, I believe, for the suppliers costing more, the transport's more, the material is probably they're paying more to secure the material as well. We're talking about raw materials. So I'm not a supply chain expert, but one thing I do know, when I go to our procurement guys, and they look at me and they go, "This is just not good news. Even a roll of magnetic tape is not arriving on time." But for me, look, for me to sit here and complain, for the entire 45 minutes that this doesn't work and that doesn't work and that doesn't work and this is expensive, I want to put a little bit of a different spin on it. Everything that we are doing right now, we're trying to mitigate, whether it's costing, whether it's transport, whether it's material. We work pretty hard at trying to mitigate it as best as we can, and where we can't, we wait it out and hope that another month or so brings a better day. Look, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. Almost all the plants in Detroit for automotive are closed. When I say closed, I mean closed. Okay, what for? The reason is because they don't get enough integrated chips in there. Now, they're better planners than I am. They're better sourcing guys than I am. They have more dollars than I have to actually go buy a factory out. They're not capable of doing that, because you just can't do that and expect everything to work out, fairly quickly. But whatever we have, we are using it wisely. We're moving right along. I think that things will level out here before the next quarter is up, and that's where I'm coming from. So.
All right, very good. Well, that's got to be frustrating, but we got positive energy, and let's hope that everything starts moving quicker. All right, now on to question 3. When is the estimated date for the Pull Buddy pilot program that you mentioned in the most recent Stock Day podcast?
Yeah. Okay. So the pilot is going to start the day when we leave the show out of Chicago.
Okay.
Basically, it is going to go to Wisconsin for the first pilot at a company called the Walter Group. And that's where the pilot's going to be. Now, what we're going to do there as well, there's going to be LLT units there, and we're going to have a simulated manufacturing cell that'll you'll be able to see it work. What you would have seen at the show is what's going to be tested out at the pilot. And hopefully we can add a second Pull Buddy to it again on that one. I ordered the drives probably like more than 90 days ago. Even expedited delivery, they're saying maybe end of November. That's if nothing goes wrong. There's also a challenge in terms of how fast can you get the Pull Buddy parts and manufacture the other X amount of units I have on the floor that I want to put together. And by the way, that number is I'm building 12 of them simultaneously. So they'll all be ready, but it'll still be waiting for last minute parts to come in. Hopefully, I can put them all on the floor by about the second week of December.
Okay, very good. Very good. Have any major hotel chains or senior facilities in Florida expressed interest in Wanda SD? And if so,
Yes, they have, but here's what it is. They would like to have a fully automated Wanda unit. Somewhere along the line, Wanda SD, since they have to devote manpower to it, they would rather wait and have the automatic one be delivered. And we're finding out even locally where we are going and showing and telling the SD unit what we'll find out as we move along. People are at two different extremes. Either give me a fully automated one or give me a fully manual one, but they don't want, at least what we are seeing right now, is they don't want their manpower to be tied up to be able to guiding Wanda from point A to point B to point C. That just means that you have to actually man it. We did see that, right? But we thought that the application itself will weigh itself out, in such a manner that putting in a little bit of manpower would be absolutely worth it. But I guess in the tightness of the labor market, they don't have people floating around that can continue to supervise Wanda SD all day long and guide it. But they are very much open to say, if you can leave it here and it's going to rummage in and out of rooms, fine, have at it. When we leave the offices, it'll go do its thing. So
okay.
that's where we are at on that.
Okay. Um, is the company able to provide investors with revised sale projections for 2021?
No, I have not revised anything more. We've been knee deep in alligators and just trying to go ahead and get our items manufactured. And to simply keep on revising the numbers is not doing us any good. We need to be able to deliver what we have on hand, and when better news comes along, then we'll just rejigger the numbers and go from there. Right now I'm still sticking by the what we had said originally, what we were going to do, and try and achieve those numbers.
Okay. All right. Wanda's SD's base cost is $5,000. How much is the cost of Wanda SA? And do you
Right
see
now,
RGGI phasing out the older SD model now that SA model is in production?
there is always a need for an SD model, because there's always going to be somebody who's going to say that I want to be able to control the movement of Wanda. So SD has to remain there, and there was our core product, so that had to remain there. The price for SA, the number that we're thinking is going to come up is going to be between $7,000 to $8,000 is where we are at. Now that is absolutely the best pricing for a mobile robot because there is nobody in that space for that kind of performance, price, and specification. We think that we will have a very sweet spot, at between $7,000 to $8,000. Of course, there's always people, who seem to think that it's underpriced, and then there's always people who are going to say that it's overpriced. But this is coming from my experience of a last number of years, and we believe that is going to be a very, very good number. Now, what I want to do is elaborate a little bit more. Okay, at $8,000, if you're only going to go ahead and carry an UVC lamp, that may seem to be too much. But if you're going to go ahead and take a machine part coming out of a machining center and automatically move it from point A to B to C, uh, that part is absolutely pays for itself because it's going to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and be able to remain flexible in how it's programmed to go from one particular place to another. And if you wanted to intervene and do it yourself, you could do it yourself as well. That's the beautiful part about it.
Oh, yes, that is. All right. The company had stated previously that they expected to sell approximately 100 Wanda SD units in Q3. We have not seen any announcements regarding sales. Are we still on target to meet that production?
Well, if I remember correctly, I'd said between 50 to 100. We might barely meet the lower end, but delivery is an issue.
Yeah.
I'm like I said, I'm looking. As I'm talking to you, I'm staring at 30 shells that are partially assembled. Yeah, and they're not getting out in the next 2 weeks. I know that because no parts are not slated to be coming in. The earliest our guy is telling us is going to be the very last part of the month will be the some of the parts we are missing will be coming in. Uh, they are coming out of Los Angeles, and from what I understand, that there is a backup there as well. But who knows? Some of these things can be routed to other ports as well.
Okay. In the previous podcast, you had mentioned that RGGI is now utilizing Wanda in its assembly line of production units. Can you share how many Wanda units are currently in use as assembly tools?
Yes, it is three. We have workstations. Again, it's a question of physical space, and how do you bring them in? So from the back of the assembly area where these guys are being tested, it comes through the corridor, and then if you I, I don't know how to better describe it, but if you had a line which is being fed, from adjacent side, on one side is the assembler, actually putting the unit together, and on the other side is the Wanda unit that comes in and brings the kits that are going to be needed, whether it's for motor or it's for sensors or it's for power supply and battery. That's how it comes in. So there's only three Wandas that are supplying the whole line, and the line's not that big, by the way. Maybe a couple 100 feet long, or maybe 300 feet long, and that would be it. Because almost all of these components, do come pre-assembled to a point. So, but the answer to that question is three.
Okay. Okay. Looking through the filing, a large number of debt RGGI has held by the RB Capital. How is your relationship with this lender? Should we expect a downward pressure in the future?
First of all, we are appreciative of RNB. They have been an excellent set of people to work with, both Brett and Deborah. Uh, and their commitment to this company for the organic growth that we're going after is unshakable. They have previously supported us. They are currently supporting us, and we have an agreement that as we need capital, that they will be on the sidelines waiting. Sure, you have to make a case for it, just like anybody else has to, but they are prepared to support, and there is no. There is no ominous clouds, dark clouds down that can sully up this relationship. So,
Okay. Okay. Given the company's lack of interaction in the Discord compared to the SIRC management team, can we expect to see more members of the RGGI team in the future?
no, we are going to. This is a double-edged sword, right? You get into answering everything that comes out on any one of the social media. You can actually take a group of couple people and pretty much allocate them for the full day to be just answering questions, because one question, once answered, begets another, begets another, begets another, right? My thinking is that when we have to deliver news, you guys are our partners. We let you deliver the news, and you do a very good job at it, and that gets us to doing our core business. Now, there will be a time in the first quarter of next year when I can see uh, having business into the building, which is substantial. At that point in time, there will be issues that would have to be addressed and talked about, and I can see somebody, being able to go ahead and address these things on a daily basis. But I don't see anything happening between now and end of December.
Okay. Some people would say that the OTC is fueled mostly by hype and speculation. Do you feel that RGGI has enough when it comes to promoting the company that would be investors compared to the OTC companies?
Yeah, look, as we were building products, we didn't have enough to promote the company. We didn't have enough stories out there. We didn't have enough show and tells out there. All that changes come October 26, 27, 28. We're going to have the largest audience, post pandemic, that's going to be at that show. Uh, there are going to be other automated guided vehicles and mobile robot people are going to be there. They are going to be there. So there is something there is to be talked about, and something to be shown. We consider that as a real start for us to be able to go ahead and talk about the company, talk about what we have to offer, because what you're going to see at the show is going to be up for sale. At that point in time, we can talk about this. Up until now, all we could say, we are going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to achieve this goal, and we do it. We show it on a little bit of a snippet in a video form, and maybe on a forum like yours. But that can only have so much impact. The real impact is when somebody goes to that particular show and sees the vehicles move around, and talk to the engineers and talk to the marketing people. That is when we believe we will have news that is worthy of being able to be repeated and be able to go ahead and share it with the community at large, both people who are in the industry and also people who are or potential buyers for our products and services.
Okay. The company had previously mentioned that they were working on a project with an unnamed logistics company. Logics company. Are you able to provide an update on this venture?
No, because we have a pretty tight NDA, and they themselves are going to take our product and be a part of their offering, and they did not wish for us to go ahead and be ahead, put the cart before the horse. They would like to be the people who want to announce what it is that they're using our products for, and they have a show that they're going to want to take our product to, and they want to be able to control that. And of course, they are a customer; they're paying, and we would it would be very unkind, and I think would basically piss them off if we went out and started touting this particular application. But let me just tell you, uh, you know, it's pretty rude, when somebody keeps on saying every time, yeah, well, no, we can't talk about it. We can't talk. One thing I will tell you, it is in agriculture. That application is in an agricultural industry. So that I can tell you, and the rest will come out.
All right, very nice. One of the discussions that had the investors regarding RGGI is the versatility of the platform compared to the other robotic companies. Are the other industries that you are personally interested in disrupting the RGGI platform in the near future?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that question completely. If you're talking about adapting our core technology, yes, there are other companies that are asking us to enhance, some of the components, some of the subsystem offerings we have on it. But again, that kind of development takes a lot of effort. And I'm of the opinion that if you've developed something along the way, you need to be able to sell it first before we go about making changes to it. Look, we have a lot of engineers on board. They have a lot of energy, and every day they have a very, very good idea. But you can't really go, by new idea every day and actually not land up selling what you developed 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, which was clearly a very, very good idea. There was a need for it. But it does take a time to go ahead and get this thing developed, and that's what we concentrate on. But that doesn't mean that we are not prepared to go ahead and make our product a little bit better, a little bit different, and a little bit open to it being adaptable. So that's where I'm coming from.
Okay. Besides developing solutions directly for end users, are there opportunities to either partner or supply this technology as a component to other manufacturers? And if so, are there any potential partners or customers you're currently in discussion with?
No, but there are potential partners that we are working with. They do want to. There are two or three different companies that would like to actually take our Pool Buddy product and package it with their actually whatever systems that they're working with. Because when you provide an integral transport, when you put a system together and have an integral transport mechanism built in, that is far more valuable to that particular OEM, to be able to offer a complete solution. And yes, we are talking to two, three different people in a different industry. One happens to be in beverage, and the other one a little bit in aerospace, with some machining, items. So when a machining center can provide its own transport to be able to go ahead and take the load that has been produced to autonomously to elsewhere in the factory to be worked on more, that is pretty good for them. So they would like to basically OEM, something like Pool Buddy.
Okay. All right, now this next question is kind of big. It has a few different parts to it, so bear with me. Can you speak to the role that you had in AutoGuide AGVs before in sales Teradine? This research company Polaris showed that the company AutoGuide had about 4 mil in revenues and sold in a deal worth about 165 mil. I believe that this is relevant benchmark for people interested in the company. Would you agree? And if so, does RGGI have similar products to AutoGuide? Do you believe that the markets are similar and that the company's product will have similar adoption and potential as AutoGuide?
Okay, so I'm going to start answering, and at some point in time, if I miss something, you're going to probably end up repeating to say you didn't answer that.
Yeah.
But AutoGuide is this, and I've done two other ventures before then. For AutoGuide, I was the chief technical officer and one of the stakeholders. We ended up building, couple of different kind of vehicles and a couple different navigation technologies. Some of it was built up here in Detroit, and then some of it was built up in Georgetown by another complementary group. The product we have here in-house rivals what AutoGuide had, and I don't know what their current status is on the products because I don't follow that company that closely now. I have no other interest. I'm completely devoted to RGGI and where we're headed out to. The tunneling vehicle is something comparable to another vehicle that was out there, but what we have done is basically augmented a lot of items that I missed the first time around that I wanted in this particular vehicle, and I've been able to implement that very well. The market that was that for AutoGuide still exists today for our vehicle, both LLT, which was not at AutoGuide. There was not a way. They didn't have something that could carry 1 kilogram, or less, or thereabouts. They had a pretty decent tunneling vehicle and a pretty decent forklift vehicle. So that's what they have. Their valuation and the fact that the company got sold for what it did was just not all. Guys, it's not all Parsh Patel's genius there. There's a lot of other people that were involved. There's a lot of other factors that were involved. But it all emanated from the fact that it had products, it had sales, and it had customers. And that's what ended up fetching that kind of price. But there are other companies like that have done very well as well. Anybody who has grown, organically grown in material handling, and especially taking AI components, and be able to go ahead and integrate them in and get it to work in an industrial 4.0 environment is going to succeed. Even it's not a huge success, it's still going to succeed. And even if it's mediocre, it's still on a pretty impressive range as far as I'm concerned. Now, it's not going to be a $5 million company. I can tell you that right now. We can look at it and say it is going to be substantially large. So, in a nutshell, that's the answer. I don't know if I answered every component to it, but I told you where I was involved, told you what we put together there, told you what we have here, and why I believe that it's going to go places. Because, like I said, now we have other complementary product as well to be able to. There was nothing that serviced an equivalent of Pull Buddy at AutoGuide. Up here there is LLT that will service Pull Buddy and then Pull Buddy onto probably another larger vehicle or a larger platform. So.
Okay. Did you see the research report released by Polaris? And if so, do
Yes,
you believe the information in it is reasonably accurate?
Absolutely. I was ecstatic, for them to be able to go make the comparison both at the low end and the high end. And what I was more impressed is they nailed our business model down fairly well. I had actually addressed an answer for somebody yesterday, saying if you want to come up online and do understand what we do, out here at RGGI, look at that report. That touches on everything we do and explains it fairly well. As to where we are headed as a company and the space that we are going to be in and we are in. So.
All right, very well. All right, now for our last question. Would the company ever consider changing its name to something that is more properly reflects the product and market space?
No. Let me tell you, I barely walked out without any physical damage to my body when I floated this idea outside to the marketing people, the storytellers, and everybody. The consensus was this: let's get going with what we have. After we have logged in substantial sales, maybe we can take a step back and reorient the name of the company and also the products as well, if need be. But right now, take the meager resources we have, and they've been pointed towards storytelling and developing the marketplace. Finish that, because to add more confusion, it's not worth it for us. Number one, we are a small band, and the amount of energy it would take to go ahead and do the name change and deal with the OTC and deal with the website guys and then deal with all the collateral and then deal with whatever else comes along with the name change. With the name change comes logo changes. There comes the brand, the branding issues, and from there comes the storytelling and collateral, and all that gets to be pretty difficult. If you had a tons of people who were just devoted to that, that's fine. Go for it. But we don't have we don't have such a deep bench to be able to go do this. I do take that note pretty seriously, though. I know that a couple of people, shareholders, have been very passionate about a name change. I do agree that RGGI doesn't mean much, but I think we have to make the best of what we got right now, and there will be a good day, when we'll have reasonable amount of sales to be able to look back and say, okay, maybe it is time we refine this a little bit, and whatever that comes up, we'll do it. Look, we are into making this thing grow organically and have a decent value out there. If that is what's stopping us, then we'll address it. But today, I don't think it's stopping us. And I also ask to that faithful shareholders, just let us do our work for a little bit. Look at the results, and then we've always considered listening to everybody with an equal hearing. And we'll look at it very seriously. No issues there.
All right, beautiful. Thank you very much. All right. I think you did a great job answering all the questions and explaining very well. I want to thank you for tuning in today, and I want to thank everybody else in the chat. And I'm looking forward to the next Q&A.
I have one last remark.
Yes, sir.
If after I hang up here, and if a couple of questions come up that are very, very either I missed it or somebody felt that I misled or whatever, shoot them out to me. We will go ahead and get them answered in the chat. Because almost for me half the day is pretty much invested in this. It wouldn't take me much of an effort, a little bit later on in the afternoon to go ahead and get those questions answered, and then close this thing up and go on to planning for the show.
All right, well, perfect. I got a question that just came in. Would the company ever consider... Oh, wait. Okay, no, I apologize. That's my fault.
Okay, I better hang up before another question comes in.
Yeah, there you go. Hurry up. No.
No, but my promise is there that I'll finish it up on the chat.
Thank you very much, Parsh, and I will be in touch.
Okay, thank you again.
Have a great day.
Bye.